Here we're going to tie a fly called the Ghost Gotcha. It's basically a gotcha style bonefish fly that imitates a ghost shrimp. First thing we're going to do is just get our thread started. Then I'm going to tie in a pair of silver brass eyes. Just going to do a few X wraps around the middle portion of those eyes. It'll help lock them into place. Now we're going to take some pearl flat diamond braid and we're going to tie a chunk right on top of the shank of the hook here. And we're going to let it hang off the back about one length of the shank of the hook. We're just going to tie that in nice and secure. I'm going to take my thread back forward, jump over those eyes, take it right to the head of the fly. Then I'm going to take that diamond braid and I'm going to wrap forward, and then I'm going to come back once more and I'm going to build a slight taper to the body. And I'm just going to take it and go around the eyes just like I did with my thread, capture it. Trim out the excess braid. I'm going to take the hook and flip it upside down here. Now I'm going to take some white pseudo hair and take a fairly generous clump, maybe twice the diameter of a pencil. And when I cut a chunk of that out, I'm actually going to take the fibers and take all the fluff out of the butt ends of the pseudo hair. That'll be all like the short poofy stuff that you don't really want on your fly. And once you've got all that out of there, you're going to take it and draw it so it's nice and long. We're going to make this collar about twice the length of the shank of the hook, maybe 2.5 times. So we want it hanging off at least a length of a hook shank, maybe a hair more. And before I tie this in, I'm just going to take my scissors and I'm going to cut the butt ends down so they're nice and even. This way I can just go right into tying them onto my hook. There's no need to do much trimming. There we go. Once I have the collar tied in, I'm going to tie in a pair of antennas. For that, I'm just going to use some black Krystal flash. I'm just going to tie this in on each side of the fly. And I'm going to cut that antenna nice and long. I'm going to cut it way past the tail here, about an inch or so past that tail, or the collar I should say, tail, collar, whatever you want to call it. There we go. Now we're ready for the legs. For this I'm just going to use some clear crazy legs. I'm going to tie 2 of these on each side of the fly. I do that just by taking and pinching them into place. And I just do that on each side here, right on top of those antennae that we just tied in. Now once I've laid down 4 or 5 wraps, I can get in there with my scissors and trim out the extra portion of the legs. Now I'm just going to clean up this head a little bit here, just smooth it out. Once I have it nice and clean and fixed up, take our whip finisher and just lay down a few quick whip finishes. And we could trim our legs. I'm going to trim the legs about twice the length of the shank of the hook, and I usually just kind of eyeball it. It doesn't have to be an exact science. And then to finish the fly, I'm just going to take some Zap-A-Gap here. Just use a little brush-on super glue. And I'm just going to coat the entire head of the fly with some super glue. And make it nice and durable. Keep it from falling apart on me. And then I usually put some right on top of the eyes as well. That'll keep the eyes from rolling from side to side and keep them in place. And that is all there is to a ghost gotcha. Very effective bonefish fly. Works on snook, redfish as well. You can see those nice long antennae sticking up there. That's all there is to a ghost gotcha.